Good morning. So today we're meeting the founder and CEO of Dalma Capital. He's done so many things at a very young age and I cannot wait for you to meet him. And we have a series of 10 interviews like this, so if this is something you're interested in, consider subscribing in the link below. Let's go.
I'd come from kind of a bit of an acting family. My mother had been an actress and an agent, and she got me into child acting from, again, the earliest age. And I was doing commercials. I was doing a little bit of TV. By the time I was 6, 7 years old, I actually had a pretty good savings. At that stage, I was represented by a better agent. I was with SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, AFTRA. So I was unionized. And my grandmother, who was an avid investor in bonds, principally municipal bonds in the United States, taught me, you've got this acting savings. Now you've got to learn about, growing that savings and compounding your wealth. And she taught me how to buy bonds. And, I was 6, 7 years old. I had no idea what I was doing. I understood the very basic. I was learning numbers at that stage. And I knew which number is higher than the other. And she would take these lists and she would show me the different bonds. And she'd say, pick the one with the highest. She'd show me this one column, yield to maturity. So I had to pick the one that had the highest number. I knew 7 was higher than 6. So I'd pick the bonds with the highest yield to maturity. But I recognized and realized how this was making my acting money grow. And to me, it was fun. By the time I was 10, 11, 12, I'd actually, blown past my grandmother, who only ever invested in bonds. She didn't believe in the stock market. It was too risky for her. And I was gung-ho into stocks. I dumped all my bond positions. They were not moving fast enough. And I started getting heavy into .com. When the bubble burst, was one of the most heavily hit stocks. I was into these .com trusts and funds and whatnot as well. So that taught me a little bit about risk management. I went to university, continued to trade. I was actually doing a lot of options trading, running more kind of my own private hedge fund with my own acting money. Halfway or into my 3rd year of university, my father, who at the time was in his late 70s, struck a severe health condition. And at a very untimely point, this was 2007, 2008. So combination of kind of untimely business decisions and health conditions caused him to meet a significant financial destitution, honestly, and at a time when he also needed help. He needed tremendous help. He needed somebody to take care of him. Basically, I gave him all of my acting money to try to help his business. Didn't go very far. It was trying to put duct tape on the Titanic. Really wasn't going to make a difference, but I did my best to try. And I ended up dropping out of university to take care of him. So we lived together in 150, 200 square foot apartment outside of Seattle. That was the most I could afford. So it was, very, very difficult period in my life. Looking back at it now, it was actually the best thing that ever happened to me for my personal development, because I'd grown up with a fair amount of privilege. I was very fortunate to have grown up in Newport Beach, California, to have studied at private schools, to have seen what wealth can do for someone, for their personal circumstances, and to appreciate that and to have access to those privileges and opportunities. But experiencing losing it all, experiencing being dead broke, experiencing not being able to afford basic medical care and services. I didn't think about it, right? It wasn't even a question. It was, I saw my father and his deterioration. I mean, it was, difficult to recognize him. And it was when you see someone that you love in that kind of pain and struggle, you will just do anything, right? Anything that you can do. It made me realize a very, very, very important lesson, that you need to focus on real relationships and what really matters. Trying to impress people by flashing or spending is not going to attract the people that you actually want. And since then, those are the only relationships that I've focused on developing. Those are the type of people that I try to surround myself with. Hitting rock bottom, being financially destitute, having dependents at 21 years old, and no one giving me any handouts, made me realize that if I wanted to win in life, I needed to take it. Right? Nobody was going to hand me anything. I built an insurance and mortgage brokerage business out of this 150 square foot little kind of cabin that we had outside of Seattle, focused on generating business online. And within a very short period, was able to generate enough income to afford to put myself back into university and to have the privilege of studying at some of the best universities in the world. I found some other college students who were also keen, who were also very smart, and had a good strategy that we worked on together. So we thought, we registered our hedge fund. We went through the process with FINRA and filed the exemptions with the SEC and started this hedge fund and decided, okay, we want to get our name out there. So we did this press release, right? College students started a hedge fund. We thought, great way to get some positive publicity. And we did get some positive publicity, but the biggest piece of publicity that we got was from New York Magazine, who Kevin Roos, who's a very accomplished journalist, published this article, Clueless Capital, college kid hedge fund, wants to play with your money, and basically, completely bashing on us as these college students who were completely clueless, who, decided to start this hedge fund. And at the time that I read that article, I was just devastated. I thought, okay, I'm ruined, my reputation, but, now I look back at it and it's such a, such a great learning experience. It's such a fun thing to, look back to, particularly because, I think anyone who is an entrepreneur and is starting a business is honestly clueless, but you have to recognize that you're clueless, and you have to learn, and you have to build, and you have to grow, and that's part of the journey of an entrepreneur. So we decided we're going to move to Dubai and run our hedge fund, a global hedge fund platform from here. So by the time I was 26, 27, we bought out the other partners, and at that stage had enough experience and direction in the business, and it was very clear that I was the driving force behind the business. I stepped into the role of CEO. We are expecting to surpass what I think is a major milestone of $1 billion of AUM in the very near future, well on our investment banking business. So we are now a full-fledged alternative asset manager with over 10 different funds. My goal for our business by 2035 is to be $1 trillion of assets under management. So it has been an incredible journey, but it's only, hitting that kind of going from here to hitting that rock bottom, to having no choice but to get on this kind of upward trajectory just to get back where I'd left off, and then continuing that trajectory that has given me the realization of the amount of energy, the amount of determination, the amount of sheer willpower that it takes to be successful in a very, very difficult industry. I think that for an entrepreneur, for someone who's looking to build something, focusing on that end goal, understanding that your path will not be the most direct path. It will not be the easiest path. You're going to suffer setbacks. You have to understand that the world is changing so fast, and people also will only work with you if you have an edge, right? In my industry, for example, they say, well, why would we invest with you when we can invest with BlackRock, right? Or with Blackstone, or with someone else who's basically a bigger version of you. And it's all about edge, right? We say we don't actually have hedge funds, we have edge funds. We have funds that have an edge, that are able to generate, in my industry it's called alpha, but I think this is in any industry. You have to have an edge. You have to have a unique selling point. You have to have something that differentiates you, that somebody can only get from you, or that you can do better than anyone else. Crisis has both risks and opportunities, and that doesn't mean that you can go blindly chasing the opportunities that a crisis creates. You have to manage the risks, and your efficacy at managing those risks is actually an opportunity in and of itself, because the market will remember your counterparties, your employees, your vendors, your whoever it is that's important to your business will remember how you reacted in a crisis. They will remember how you dealt with them in a crisis. It was very important to adapt and to pivot and to identify the opportunities that the crisis was creating. In addition to our fund management business, we also have a conference business. We saw the opportunity to do webinars, to connect with people digitally, and we started doing it immediately. And it was a time when people wanted more information more than ever. Look at the opportunities, look at how this is going to change your business in the medium term and the long term. I never ever would have wished for the crisis that I faced with my father and his health and to drop out of university, but just like that ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me for my personal development. I would have never wished COVID on the world, but for our business, it may be, again, one of the best things that ever happened. And I think our competitive advantage has increased so significantly as a result of that. This leveling of the playing field in the investment banking, fund management, and even the conference industry, it will end up being the largest advantage that we realize of all.
And what a journey, really, Zachary. This has been extremely insightful. You might be in your 30s, but if you started at 6 years old, this means that you have 30 years of business experience. And I'm sure the viewers are gonna be super interested with all the different aspects of your life and of your journeys and of your roller coasters. So thank you so much for giving us the time to go through this. And thank you for watching. I learned a lot from Zachary, especially on the mindset, on setting bold dreams. And if you learned something, don't forget to comment so that Zachary would know what you took from this talk. So thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. It's been all mine. Thank you.
Thank you.